Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is morning, 12:05 a.m. Today is April the 15th, 2022. Hey, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. Is there anybody out there on Facebook? Is there anybody out there watching on the Real Dark News channel? Anybody awake? East Coast, West Coast? Let me know where you're at. Um, Guys, I was up in my office and I thought of a clip that was relevant to what's been being discussed over the last few days. I got a text message and a phone call from my friend Jared Cressman. Many of you guys know him. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. And he was talking about this video that he saw. Jared is somewhat of a skeptical guy, but he was talking about this video about the poison in the water, the cobra venom, the snake venom, all that stuff. And he said, "Hey, check this out." He said, "A lot of people are going to think this is crazy, but there might be something to this." So I was actually on a run at the time. I said, "Well, I'll check it out." And I watched it maybe one and a half times by all the times that I watched it because I was busy doing stuff. And I felt the same way that he did. I thought it was very compelling information. So, is it true or not? I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I'm trusting somebody that's very, very smart. I believe that Dr. Artis, the person who made the documentary, it's about an hour long, called "Watch the Water." If I remember, I will put a link to it in the comments. But if somebody else could do that, that would be awesome. If anybody's out there listening. So, guys, I hope you listen to me. Let me say this. If you're tuning in now, hang in there. I'm going to show a clip from about 40 years ago that's relevant to what's happening this week and it's relevant to what's being said this week. Okay. Um, Let me just try to get right into it. Okay. This is a book I got when I was about 17, 18 years old called How Should We Then Live by Francis Schaeffer. Okay. I got this book, and the reason I got this book was because I knew that Francis Schaeffer was a historian and he believed in Christians being involved in the arts, and that's what had interested me because I hadn't heard anybody telling Christians they should do that. So I got the book. I don't know what I read out of there what I wanted to. I put it on a shelf for like 30 years or something like that, 20 years maybe. And I got it out about 10 years ago. And then there's some stuff in this book. I was like, holy crap. I even have it marked here in the back. Anyway, that's for another video. This is the video series, okay, which is a 10-part series, about 30 minutes each, based on this book. All right. Now, the clip that I want to play is from part 6, called The Scientific Age. In that part, okay, Francis Schaeffer starts off talking about the Christian scientist and that Christians became scientists because they believed that they lived in a universe that could be studied. And God created them to figure out all this stuff, as far as science is concerned. So, anyway, um, the video goes on to talk about how people moved away from God's word and then science became the new religion. Well, I want you to listen to what Francis Schaeffer talked about in the early 80s. Okay. And he was reporting on something. He wasn't speculating. The people, the scientists, okay, the elites said they wanted to do these things. And I'm talking about putting chemicals in the water. Now, I realized that, again, I don't know what the truth is um, concerning what's happening with the snake venom and all that. Okay, but it would not surprise me if it's true. I do not trust the narrative when it comes to what's going on with COVID-19, with the vaccine. Tuning in now that you're going to watch this, that you check this out. I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. We're already 5 minutes in, and I got about a 5-minute clip that I want to play. But just for anybody that's skeptical that people could do this or would do this, remember that we live in a country where people murder babies, the most defenseless, innocent among us. They rip them apart. Okay, they do anything they can to destroy them. They love shredding children. They love raping children. Okay, true story. So, anyway, check out this clip, and I'm going to go to this right now. Let me put it. I'm going to put it full screen and press play. So, listen to Francis Schaeffer from the early '80s.
I think we'd have to say, and it's not tried at all, though it's often been said, that science has become our new religion. We have been conditioned to accept the objectivity of the scientists without realizing that often their views are very clearly shaped by their philosophy or by their worldview. And therefore, having accepted this objectivity almost blindly and having it driven into us, whether it would be the more exact sciences, for instance, astronomy or chemistry or physics, or what now is accepted as almost exact sciences of sociology and psychology, having been accepted, having been conditioned to accept these things, people just stop listening. They just take what they're told without any critical analysis. It is well known that in Russia, political prisoners are put into mental institutions to be reconditioned, and thus they lose their civil rights and they become non-persons. But conditioning does not have to be so crude in order to be effective. In the West, the flood of books and articles and ideas about psychological, sociological, and chemical determinism has opened the way for the acceptance of first the idea and then the practice of manipulation. People have been increasingly conditioned to be treated as machines and to treat other people as machines. And the technical breakthroughs have largely been made for manipulation. No less a person than Arthur Kessler, the noted scientist and author, has suggested that a chemical agent be developed to rid men of aggression and give him tranquility. In other words, a super tranquilizer. Just like those who wanted to put LSD into the water supply, he suggested that some community may put it in its drinking water so that everyone could get the effects of it. In this section, I'm giving that which has been reported in various newspapers and news magazines. Kenneth B. Clark, one-time president of the American Psychological Association, suggested in 1971 that all political leaders should have to take anti-aggression pills so they could not be aggressive. And the head of the gynecology and obstetrics department of the Kansas City University Medical School, Dr. Kermit Cranty, urged that birth control pills be put into the world's drinking supplies to control population. And some have suggested that the state could dispense yet another drug to certain households to neutralize the pill. This way the state could decide who could have babies and who could not. Russell V. Lee, clinical professor emeritus of Stanford University Medical School, said that all public officials should have to have psychological annual testing in depth. And in the case of a high federal official, if the committee thinks it's necessary, the findings could be turned over to a congressional committee who would have the power to remove the official from office. One little thing, the men who dispense the pills and who do the psychological testing will be king. Who will control the controllers? And what will happen now that the line between what man should do and what he can do is obliterated? And if man is only a conditioned machine, what is the value of the continuation of mankind?
Okay, guys. So let me bring it right back here real quick. And is this where I want to go? Right about here. Okay, so I'm trying to make this short. Anyway, I want this to be shareable, or I want you guys to go and watch The Scientific Age by Francis Schaeffer. All of this whole thing is available online for free on YouTube. There's different versions of it. Like I said, I recommend watching all 10 of these. Um, Francis Schaeffer is not a psychic. He was not a prophet. He was a historian. And by looking at the past, he was able to say, this is what's coming. Okay. Now, I don't think it played out the exact way that Francis Schaeffer thought it would. And I don't think Francis Schaeffer had all the answers. Okay. Now, I want to show you this clip real quick where Francis Schaeffer talks about a manipulative elite. He said, don't think of Hitler or Stalin, think of an authoritarian manipulative elite. Okay. Well, I think Hitler was very manipulative. Okay. And he was a master at it, brainwashing people. And I just don't know how Schaefer didn't make that connection, but whatever. I guess he looks at the Hitler and the Nazis as just a violent machine and not so manipulative. Okay. Well, they were very deceptive. They were very manipulative, and they brainwashed the Germans. So anyway, I'm going to play another clip. I wasn't going to do this, but check out this clip real quick. And just here we
Genetic
go.
engineering use exactly the same arguments to put forth their position. They say that genetic engineering ought to be used for the survival of the fittest, rather than medical advances being used to keep the weak alive, to be the producers of the next generation. When the Christian consensus died, it left a vacuum, and this will tend to be filled by an elite to form an authoritarian state. When we speak of an authoritarian state, we must not think of the model of Hitler or Stalin, but rather a manipulative authoritarian state. The governments of the world have at their disposal forms of manipulation beyond anything the world has ever known before. Organ transplants are a helpful breakthrough.
So, okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So he's saying the governments, he's saying this in the early 80s. He wrote the book in the late 1970s, but he's saying this in the early 80s that the governments have the ability to manipulate like never before. Whoa, slow down, Francis. Wait till you see 2022. Okay, of course, I think it was 1983, 84, it might have been 82, where we lost Francis Schaeffer. And his mind maybe would have been blown, maybe not, because he predicted all these things. In my opinion, the Obama administration took lines right out of his book when he talks about the redistribution of wealth. Francis Schaeffer wrote about that. Exactly. The exact words here. Where is it? I don't have time. I don't have time. I want you guys to share this, and I want to hear what you think. Please leave some comments, whether you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on YouTube, on the Real Dark News channel. Please share it, share the video, watch the videos. Let me know what you think. I don't know if there's a snake venom in the water or not, but obviously I don't trust these things. I believe they've all been planned out. There is an authoritarian elite that has forms of manipulation like we have never seen. And there's also the spiritual component. This is one of the things that we've been talking about the last few nights. We can hypnotize people on a psychological level, but there's a spiritual element as well, a spiritual deception. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. I got a lot more, but that's all I want to say for tonight, because I want you guys to share this, to watch this, and just let me know what you think. So late 12:20 a.m. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. I guess tomorrow is Friday. So hey, have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.